Well, good afternoon, everybody. And first of all, let me thank the Center for Governance Studies for inviting me. This is also the first time that I'm in Bangladesh, but actually I was invited already in February 2020 to this conference, and it's such a great coincidence that we finally can meet here and talk. It's called Bay of Bengal Conversations, and I want to let you in a little bit on the kind of conversations that I have in this region beyond the Bay of Bengal on geopolitics as well as in Europe. If we talk about geopolitics between Europeans and Asians, it is actually quite interesting to see that we agree, at least on the surface of it, on a lot of things. We don't want binaries. We don't want bipolarity. We don't want to decouple. We don't want to take sides. And we don't want conflict. So everything seems good. We all agree we want a rule-based multilateral order, and we all want to cooperate to a certain degree. The question that I have is, will it be possible to avoid choosing sides when the elephants are dancing? And there are, of course, two scenarios where this avoidance of choosing sides will be extremely difficult. Number one is the cataclysm of a hot war between the United States and China. And number two is more of a creeping, slippery slope of technological bifurcation, trade, block building, and economic decoupling. And I want to have a deeper look into these two trends. First of all, the first one by looking, and that's why I brought you this presentation, at the geopolitical theater of Eurasia or the Indo-Pacific. I think it's for us important to understand the motivation between the geostrategic moves of China as well as the United States. We do see on the right a line that has been there since 1945, since MacArthur marched towards Japan. That is the first and second island chain of the United States. This is basically a doctrine which will not allow any power to enter the Western Pacific, threaten Hawaii, or threaten even the west coast of the United States. This very line, however, threatens Beijing. They feel encircled, and they feel that there are too many choke points, especially at the Strait of Malacca, that can actually cut them off their resources and trade supply routes. So what you can observe what China has been doing over the last couple of years is, number one, to gain strategic space towards the West, breathing space, so to say, from any decoupling move with the target of the European market. And number two, area denial, access denial in the South China Sea, and a try to push through the island chain and gain access to the Western Pacific. I haven't said the word Taiwan yet, because I don't think the topic is Taiwan. The topic is precisely this geopolitical confrontation, and the locus where this could come to a head is the Strait of Taiwan, and this is why we have to watch that. I would like to also bring to your attention two important dates. 2024 is the next presidential election in the US. 2027 is when both the Chinese High Command as well as the Pentagon believe that there is going to be military parity between the US and China and the South China Sea. So this is not very far from now, and I think we have to watch that. Unfortunately, we cannot conclude today that there is not going to be a military showdown between the two. However, the eternal optimist that I am, I will now basically continue saying this will not going to happen. We're going to have some sort of a deal, and we're going to in a systemic rivalry / strategic competition without a military showdown. Still, I think there are two important trends that we will see accelerating or becoming more pronounced. One of them is the regionalization of the global economy. The second one is the erosion of the rules of the game or the world order. We have been seeing this actually for some time, that after the financial crisis of 2008, both global trade as well as capital investment, export, have not really been recovering to the levels of before. So we have been seeing actually a certain stagnation of globalization, or you can call, we have seen peak globalization in the rear mirror. That was before COVID. COVID drove home the point that those efficiency, just-in-time supply chains that we have created around the world are too vulnerable to disruptions, and we're going to see now a paradigm shift towards resilience or just in case. We're going to see an acceleration of exercises that I learned that if you build a car in Germany, you need 40,000 parts from almost every country of the world. So that makes you extremely vulnerable. And I think nearshoring, reshoring are some of the trends that I think will accelerate. And you will see another push towards digital automation in order to bring some industries home into the market. On top of that is now the hegemony conflict between the United States and China, which is going to pressure Asian economies as well as European economies to decouple, to diversify, to friendshore, and maybe we see the emergence of trade blocs. Why does it matter? And why does it matter in particular for countries in this region? Well, you're going to see a large-scale reorganization of supply chains, which is already underway. And there is a danger to be cut out of these supply chains, and that is an impediment to economic development. You will see the increasing politicization of market access, something that is already happening in the Chinese market, and there is a good chance it will happen in other markets as well. And you will see the weaponization of tech, energy, and finance. So basically, I'm saying if we're going into some sort of a cool or Cold War confrontation between the United States and China, this new Cold War will be decidedly different from the old one. There is a possibility of war, of course, but the actual theater of war will be technology and economy and not so much the battlefield. The second trend, because I'm coming close to the end of my time, is the erosions of the rule of the game. So if this is now all happening and you add to that what happened during the Corona crisis as well as the Ukraine war, that the multilateral institutions that we have were seen to not deliver to what they were supposed to deliver. And you have not only the great power rivalry between US and China, but you also have other regional great powers adding to the same tune. India, Turkey, Iran, Saudi Arabia. The idea is that there is no longer a clear order out there that actually sets boundaries to behavior, but basically national interest or whatever is perceived as such is the compass for such postures. And of course, you have the war in Ukraine, which effectively destroyed the European security order. So what we are seeing is the end of the unipolar moment after 1990. What we see is the end of this concentration of power. What we do not see, what we do not know is what comes next. The question that is basically to be asked is, will the order after 1990, that some like to call the liberal order, survive the end of the dominance of its guarantor? And there's basically another trend that we have to watch very closely, and that's the domestic polarization within the US. We saw that under the Trump presidency, the US was basically withdrawing from most multilateral organizations that it actually founded itself. And of course, the Biden administration returned to some of them, but we don't know what's going to happen after 2024. So is an order viable when its guarantor power is not standing behind it? I think is a very important question to ask. Again, why does it matter? Well, number one, because a world order, if you like it or not, provides rules of the game, provides rules of the road, which actually cuts transaction costs. It provides opportunities for trade, it will actually allow this highly complex system of supply chains that we've built around the world, which in its immense complexity needs enormous political stability. So if you do not have this kind of stability in the rules of the road, you cannot construct the world economy as we had in the last 30 years. Of course, we also have to look at the global challenges, global climate change, pandemics, all the things that we need to tackle together. In that particular moment where we need global governance the most, the institutions that are actually supposed to help us coming to solutions are not working properly. And there is the potential return of hot conflict. So to conclude, my time is up. I think we have to look very, very carefully what is happening in the field of geopolitics, because I think it will change the opportunity structures for development, and it will set the framework conditions for what kind of development is possible in this region. Thank you very much.